you said was we're gonna hydrate.
Mm-hmm.
Get your water in. We got to do this. Get your water in. And so I started out like first kind of 8 hours, cutting it off at 8, and then I wouldn't eat till the next day. But I started like 8 to 10 because my mornings were just coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for about my first week. And I started noticing, like, you know, I'm feeling, I felt funky the first week. Like, I don't know what it was, right? I think my body was just like getting a wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I say funky, not funky as in a sick or ill, but just like I can tell something's happening.
Yeah.
Something's off, but something's happening. And I could tell just, I don't know, in my soul, it felt like something good was happening.
Yeah.
Like I was healing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I took it as that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, okay, we're going to start you know, let's push the fast a little longer. You know, you're cutting it off, but let's try some 10, 12, 6. And you're like, we're going to do our first 24. And you said,
and
John,
we did it together.
Yeah, you said, we're going to do it together. And it's like, John, you can do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, okay, let's go. I think the first time, I think I may have not gone the whole 24. I think I went like 22. And I was like, all right, I think. You was like, but I went like 21, 20. I was like close.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, but while I was doing this, what Jeremy was telling me, okay, you're gonna start to flush, and I started to see a few signs.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm already up to like I was close to 300. I was like 290.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I started seeing, and I had never seen this before. Like all of a sudden, like when the first week or so, I guess I was just fluid and flushing, and I may have dropped down quickly to 280.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not drinking.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that was probably a big thing, and no sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, okay. Was
that surprising that it happened that quickly?
Yeah, the first couple weeks, it was like I saw like 5 to 10 pounds, like quick, and really surprising. And I told my wife, I'm gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep this thing going.
Yeah.
So
did you notice healing or weight loss first? What did you notice first? Feeling better or clothes getting bigger?
I noticed feeling better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the weeks went by, the no drinking, which was crazy. I think for years now, I'm pushing up close to, middle-aged guy. I had, like I said, I had been drinking every other day, every day, for so long, for years, at least 20, 25, 30 years, that I was like, okay, my body's changing. But what I noticed was like, I had clarity. I started sleeping better.
Yeah.
When I slept, it felt like a good sleep when I slept. When I was fasting, when I was cutting it off. That was like the best. Waking up, you felt like a cleansing. That was the best feeling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can do this. I can do this because it feels good. It feels good. Yeah. And I was thinking I was gonna feel a certain way about not drinking and alcohol or something. It didn't bother me at all. Mm-hmm. And I actually felt better. Mm-hmm. I could feel it.
Quick question. So with the alcohol, is it just routine, or was it, hey, I'm getting with my buddies and we're going to drink? Like, was it a big social thing, or was it just a habit by yourself?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay. We had some. We used to watch the football.
We watched some games, and Jeremy, I tell you,
we had. I don't even remember. It was like we take a shot for every turnover or something.
It was it was something. We was just like,
that's a death sentence for a Carolina game.
Yes. So we was drunk pretty quick first quarter.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it was really. I think it was a combination. Yes. I think I was drinking, kept socially, friends. But in addition to that, like work related, you know, have a drink after work and you know, think about it, and then you're like, you know what? In 3 days, I had, you know, 10 drinks, you know, and I never really thought like what that was doing to me
on the inside.
Yeah, and I told Jeremy, like, when I was 18, when I first knew I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol, I was 18 years old. I took my first physical in college.
Yes.
Because in college, you take, you know, you get all these doctors. In high school, it's kind of like you go to the clinic, you cough, and it's over.
That's right.
In college, they draw your blood and all that other stuff. And at 18, they're like, hey, do you know what high cholesterol is? And I had no idea. Mm-hmm. You know, your blood pressure is high. Okay. Yeah. Nobody ever said that to me. And that was from 18 up until 35. Like, I just, okay, I'm going to forever have. Now, mind you, fast forward, I'm adult working with kids, 5 blood pressure medicines. I'm just thinking, this cannot be my fate. This cannot be me just, and it wasn't until I started fasting, cutting off the alcohol, sugar, my blood pressure started to drop. Like no exercise.
Yeah.
It was just letting my body. I stop those things, drinking more water, just living a different lifestyle.
That's right.
My blood pressure quickly was like the first thing that I noticed really, that I felt better. My blood pressure. Yeah. I had a normal. I say it was normal. Let me tell you, I was getting blood pressure like 160 over 110.
Yeah, and
it was just
that's high.
It's casual. And then I started getting what I noticed started to be 140 over 90. And one day 130 over, 130 over 80. And I'm like, yeah, something's going right. Something's happening.
Yeah. So we get to our 24. We do a 24-hour together.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit better about yourself. Weight's coming down.
Yeah.
What's the reaction from people? Are people noticing? Anybody saying anything to you?
So, the first person who noticed,
you're still big at this point, right?
I'm still big, so I'm still like I get down to about 265.
That's good.
And the first person that noticed something is my mama. Of course, your mom, because I live close to my mom. My mom is like, hey, John, your face, you're looking different. I said, thank you, Mom. And I didn't want to tell her like my programming plan. Yeah. But she was like, I said, well, I'm doing some things better. The one thing I did tell her, I said, I stopped drinking. Oh, and she just, praise the Lord, my baby finally, I've been talking to him all these years, and finally he listened, right? So, that's the first person who noticed.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes you feel good when your mom noticed, right? So
still a big guy, 260.
Yeah, I'm still a big guy.
But you're hanging in there. You're doing the 24.
And I remember when we pushed past the 24. Jeremy asked me what my goal was, and I said I want to get down at least. First, I think I said I want to be below 250, right? And then I want to at least get in the, go from there. We're gonna just go from, my ultimate goal. I said I wanted to get down to like 225.
And that's to even have that as a goal, to be 290 and to be in your 40s, and to even think that it's even possible to get anywhere into that range. I mean, it's an amazing thing.
It is, man. I was amazed every week, and because I was texting you I was sometimes it just depends on. I'd say, look, man, I can't believe it. I hit this, and I show them my feet on the scale.
Yeah, a lot of text messages of the scales.
I was sending you toes.
So, we'll put it right here in the video. No, I'm playing. We're not gonna put that.
So yeah, when I got to the 24, I told Jeremy, I'm at 260, and you're like, okay, John, let's you can do this. We're gonna do your first 36-hour fast, and I was like, man, let's do it. I didn't say no. I said, let's do it. And you said, this is how he kind of gave me a plan, like, hey, you're gonna cut it off around this time, have whatever you like, and then at this time we're gonna cut it off. And I think, Jeremy, you text me probably 10 times not that first day on the 24. We got to the 24. Mm-hmm. But after that, you was like, man, how you doing? How you doing? Even at night,
it can be scary, man. It can be.
And I was like, I'm good, man. I'm good. I said, I didn't even think about it. But what I started doing to get through, because it was a challenge. Because now, like, my wife is like, I see a difference in you. But that didn't stop her from cooking for the kids. I mean, she made some great meals. Like, and I'm just like, oh, you gotta make, cheese steaks tonight with, chili cheese fries too. And I'm like, you know what? I got myself out of the house.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I started going for my walks, my runs. That's when I started doing a little exercise. And the only thing you told me was like, hydrate. You don't push too hard on these days that we're doing a longer fast.
Right. And I remember you had some dehydration challenges at one point, and that's why it was so important to make sure that you were drinking your water. And I kept that in mind. I'm big on hydration, but you specifically because of the history with the dehydration.
And I had some dehydration issues where I passed out before, with football, and that was before I did fasting. So, but we did the 36, and I just remember my first 36. I went to bed probably 9-ish. I went to bed a little early, 9:30. Woke up that next morning. I slept really good. But before I went to bed, I don't know what happened. I had some boost of energy. And I had went for my walk, come back, I had a boost of energy. Found myself like 2 hours later, I had cleaned the kitchen, did 3 loads of clothes. And I was like, where did this come from? Because I hadn't, I've been fasting. I had no idea where that boost of energy came from. Yeah. I went to bed, I slept good, and I woke up, and there's, even now, my best, I told my wife this, even like the best feeling is when you wake up after your fast. Am I hungry? No. Mm-hmm. I don't have the cravings. I just wake up and go right into my routine. Yeah. And actually, I do end up fasting. I actually end up fasting a little longer than my 36 because I'm just now, I'm just starting my day. Have my coffee, I'm drinking my water. And then I'm like, I gotta eat. It's time for me to eat. And, but when I ate, I was like, oh my God, that was like the best.
I know, right?
That was the best chicken salad I ever had. So
fasting makes food taste better.
Oh yeah. So But and then it wasn't until I started the 36s then I was like, that weight was. I was like, okay. I wasn't even thinking about it, and I was just doing it. And the weight, Jeremy kind of said, get away from. Don't keep your focus on the scale.
That's right.
And so I just started I'm just going, now it's my routine. Mm-hmm. Now I know Mondays, and I made Monday, just my pick. Mondays are when I'm coming off the weekend. I'm making that my 36-day where I'm just, and as if I'm doing just my normal cutting it off every day, and I go into my weekend, what I found out was like, okay, by the time I get to Monday, I was like, I hadn't really done. My weekend wasn't bad because I've been cutting it off.
That's right.
And hadn't really been thinking about it because now my focus, I'm clear. I'm doing all these other things throughout my day. Yes. That I'm like, my first. I think initially I was like, oh man, I hadn't eaten. It's been 3 hours, 6 hours, but I had to get away from that mentality of thinking how long I hadn't eaten and just refocus. Things throughout my day. And after it just became my routine, the 36s was just my thing. And when it hit me was, I was like almost about to fall in my chair when I hit 250. And I got under 250. And I was like, I'm really under 250.
It's unbelievable, right? It's like,
and this is like, so we're in the pandemic, right?
In the pandemic, yeah.
This is during the pandemic. You can't see people. You can't go out. Nobody's going anywhere. And I'm like, I don't have anybody to tell. But let me tell you, I was just like, when we're coming out of the pandemic, and Jeremy's like, man, you did this at a difficult time, man. Like, when you're at the house and you could eat, you didn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it, man. I was just like, look, I need something to get me healthy.
Yeah.
And man, I hadn't looked back since.
Yeah.